The Warhammer world is a place of ancient and mysterious magics. These energies can be summoned and harnessed by practitioners of the different laws of magic, with varying degrees of skill. There are, however, magical focal points, monoliths, found in many different regions of the world, that can increase the power of any mage or shaman. In the Badlands there is the Pillar of Bone, a massive tower that rises from the desolate earth and draws in the magical energies for miles around. It was once capable of imbuing incredible power, though over the years the energies have waned. There are the 6 spikes deep in the great forest of Tabakland. No one knows their true origin, but these large pillars of black rock are rumoured to be fragments of the moon Morsleb. These pillars are sacred to the Beastmen tribes and are often used by their shamans due to the abundance of magical energies. Beyond the old world, to the north of the Mountains of Mourn, there is the imposing Challenge Stone. While its full power has long since dissipated, the monolith holds significance to both the tribes of men in the snow-covered wastes and the ogres who reside in the mountains to the south. Since ages past, these two cultures have fought over the monolith, each side having dominance on many occasions. To the chaos-worshipping men, the site is a shrine to their dark gods, a warning to all of their power and a place for many of their gruesome rituals and sacrifices. Around the site are piles of ogre skulls, stacked as a warning to their enemies of their fate if they should defile their shrine. To the ogres, the stone is seen solely as a sign of their dominance over their foes. They live for the challenge presented by the warriors of chaos who claim the monolith, reveling in the opportunity for battle, and for the chance to test their strength. The stone's surface is covered with tribal marks, etched deep into the rock, to boast to all which ogre tyrant has claimed the site through battle. As each side emerges victorious and etches their symbols into the rock, it reforms its surface, wiping clean all previous marks so only the current owner can be seen. The monolith currently falls under the domain of the ogres, claimed by the tyrant Folg the Mauler of the Bloodmoor tribe, who fought a bloody battle against the forces of chaos in a raging storm that has become known as the Battle of the Blizzard. The stone had been held by the Glutmonger tribe when the forces of chaos arrived, their vast army bolstering their confidence as they claimed the Challenge Stone and erased the marks of the ogres. The rituals then began, almost as a taunt to their foes, as they yelled for blood and glory. Word quickly reached the tyrant Folg that the tribes of men had taken the monolith for their own, and he mustered his army for battle as the storm clouds gathered around and the chill winds began to bite at him through his furs. Folg intended to use the storm to his advantage, believing that the weaker men would be unable to fight inside the blizzard's fury. The Bloodmoor tribe marched out to war, the Thunder Tusks leading the way, with thousands of warriors formed up behind. The ground shook to the rhythm of their advance. The raging storm had reduced visibility, and the winds drowned out most sounds, so the forces of chaos' first warning of the ogres' approach was the deeper rumble beneath their feet. The chaos hordes formed battle lines, with the tribes of men and the armoured warriors of chaos at the fore. Dozens of dragon ogres guarded their flanks as they waited to sight the advancing army. Long minutes passed, the wind howling and the ground shaking, yet no forms appeared from the hail of ice and snow. But then, as if from the frozen ground itself, the Yetis were tearing into the lines of men, drawing first blood for the great tyrant's forces. Men were dragged screaming into the storm, trails of blood bearing witness to the savage assault of the beasts. And then the main force of the ogres began to take shape. The true battle was about to begin. The charge of the ogres was like an earthquake, and many warriors were thrown to the ground from the shaking, and as they reclaimed their footing, the ogres were upon them. The force of their charge impacted the chaos lines like a tsunami, and entire units of men were brushed aside or trampled underfoot. While the impact was devastating, the chaos hordes measured in the tens of thousands, and the ogres soon found themselves surrounded on all sides. The snow turned red as warriors from both sides fell, the might of the ogres able to combat a dozen men, but the overwhelming numbers proving too much for many. Though the winds continued to howl, and the storm showed no signs of clearing, the sounds of battle and the screams of the dying could be heard clearly. While the battle at the center of the lines raged, the flanks saw the dragon ogres charge the hulking thunder tusks. Two massive lines bore down on one another, the tundra being torn and splintered by the weight of the beasts. When they met, the dragon ogres tore into the ogre cavalry, felling their riders with their rage, pummeling countless ogres under their mallets. The thunder tusks were not helpless without their riders, and soon the tide turned, their chilling aura and freezing ice blasts proving the deciding factor. Amongst the frenzy of battle, Folg rode upon his mighty Stonehorn, crushing all who dared oppose him. Even the mighty Chaos Chosen fell under his blows, their armor shattering at the force. Folg was intent on finding the leader of the Chaos Army, and he soon spotted him through the blizzard, his blood-red armor seemingly burning with a demonic fury. The general rode a huge chimera, fierce mount even to the ogres, and it tore at the warriors of the Bloodmoor tribe assembled around it. Wasting no time, Folg charged the Chaos Commander, swinging his massive club as he went. His first impact crushed one of the chimera's heads, and a bestial shriek filled his ears. He did not pause to revel at drawing first blood. Instead he swung once again, the force of his swing causing the snow to form a small vortex around him. The second strike hit hard, the chimera faltered, and another of its heads lay limp over its body. The Chaos Lord attempted to shift his mount's position to make a counter-attack against Folg, but his beast was on its last legs, blood spurting from the wounds just inflicted. A third strike would finish it, and then only the Lord would remain. Folg once again swung his club, and once more hit his target. A satisfying crack indicated the beast's final head had been split open, and it collapsed to the ground, the Chaos Lord pinned underneath. Folg felt triumphant as he directed his beast to the Lord's side. He knew he had proven himself a worthy tyrant. He smiled down at the Chaos Lord, who tried to free himself from beneath his mount. A pointless exercise. Folg said nothing as he stared at his foe. Instead he shifted his mount's weight and crushed the helpless commander, like he were nothing more than an insect. As the Chaos Lord lay dead on the battlefield, Folg and his tribe fought through the night and into the following day. All the while the blizzard raged on, forming a curtain around the bloodbath. When the storm finally subsided, the true horrors of battle could be seen. Hundreds of ogres stood amongst the broken bodies, and only a handful of men remain. Victory belonged to the Bloodmoors. We should see a representation of the Challenge Stone on the Game 3 map, though I very much doubt the player will be able to interact with it directly. It is likely it will be implemented in much the same way as the Pillar of Bone in the Badlands. We may, however, see the settlement for the region that contains the Challenge Stone have a unique building or shrine for both Chaos and the Ogre Kingdoms, to represent its significance to each. It may also be the case that a battle map might be created with the monolith as a focal point, so that we can recreate the Battle of the Blizzard for ourselves once the ogres have been added to Game 3. What are your thoughts on the Challenge Stone? Do you think we will see it appear as more than a map feature in Game 3? Do you look forward to recreating the Battle of the Blizzard? With that, we come to the end of the video. I hope you have enjoyed this look at the Challenge Stone and the Battle of the Blizzard. Please leave a like or comment, as the engagement will really help the channel and help me gauge what I should do next. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons for their continued support, with a special thanks to Hot Apple Pie and Cody Bonds. If you want to support the channel, then you can check out my Patreon. I'm Grey Tiger, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.